The Zarn Empire had ruled for centuries. They controlled thousands of planets. Their fleets stretched across 3 galaxies. Their leaders believed no one could ever challenge them. But Earth had not challenged them. Earth had waited now. Earth was done waiting. The counterattack had begun. It started in the Veptis system, a strong colony world, full of factories, weapons depots, and one of the Empire's largest shipyards for years. The Empire had used Veptis to build warships, but one night, without warning, the sky above Veptis turned black, not from clouds, but from ships. Terran, ships. No lights, no markings, just pure black armor, shaped for speed and death. No one saw them arrive. No one saw them prepare. They only saw the first strike, at exactly midnight. The shipyard control tower exploded, not from bombs, from inside. A virus had been planted weeks earlier, quiet, hidden, waiting. When it activated, it shut down all defenses in 1 second. Then, the Terran ships moved. They didn't fire massive beams or launch giant missiles. They used precision, tiny railguns that hit only power cores, lasers that sliced through engines, drones that hacked systems and turned Zarn ships against each other in just 7 minutes. The shipyard was gone, not destroyed, erased. No one could even find the remains. On the nearby moon of Veptis, civilians watched in horror as their sky lit up. Zarn generals tried to fight back, but their ships didn't launch. Their systems failed. Their AI cores shut down. Everything had been compromised. One general managed to send a signal before his base. Exploded, it reached the Empire's central command. The message was short. Veptis has fallen. They didn't come to talk. They came to end us. Inside the war room of the Zarn capital, panic finally began. "They've taken Veptis," a council member shouted. "That's impossible. They never even fired a warning shot," said another. No declaration of war, just ... vanished. Threx was already preparing for the worst. "They're not here to play games," he said. "This is punishment." "For what?" Minister asked. "For laughing at Earth, for invading them, for calling them weak, for minding their home like." It was dirt. He paused. "They warned us. We ignored them. Now they're not warning anymore." Across the Empire, other colonies began to fall, not from massive battles, but from silence. Defense stations stopped working. Supply routes disappeared. AI units turned off forever and always. Someone saw a black shape in the sky just before the power went out. One planet found a message carved into its main government building. "We do not forget. We do not forgive. We do not fear." Signed, Earthborn, meanwhile, back in Project Titan. Commander Cade stood with the Genesis Force. The awakened Terran warriors were suiting up. Their armor shimmered with black and red. Their weapons were old, but deadly. Each one had trained for this moment, not for survival, for vengeance. Cade walked to them. "Zarn took everything from us. Our homes, our sky, our pride. And now, they'll understand what that cost." The soldiers nodded. No one cheered. There was no need. This wasn't war. This was justice. High above Earth. The Colossus-class ship Oblivion moved into deep space. It was one of the oldest and most powerful weapons Earth ever built. Too large to land. Too dangerous to use in peacetime. But this was not peace. Inside, Oblivion was an AI known only as GHOSTLIGHT. It didn't speak like other eyes. It whispered, and now, Ghostlight sent a message into the void. It was a countdown. Target: Empires. Central Core Fleet. Time to first strike. 36 hours. No one could stop it now. Back in the Empire. Leaders tried to act strong. They broadcast messages across space. "We will not surrender. We are still the most powerful." Or not. Afraid. But their people were afraid. Trade ships stopped flying. Soldiers refused orders. And in the quiet night skies above their richest planets, black ships drifted without a sound. Just watching, waiting. The message was clear. Earth was not attacking. Blindly, Earth was choosing targets, one by one, slowly, carefully, and the next one would be the heart of the empire. The mighty Zarn Empire, once proud and unshakable, was starting to crack. News of Earth's attacks spread faster than light. Every colony, every system, every spaceport whispered the same word: Terrans. They weren't an army. They were a shadow, a storm moving planet by planet, leaving nothing behind but silence and fear. And now, the fear was everywhere. On the world of Narek 5, Zarn loyalists begged for more warships. But none came. Every ship sent there disappeared. No explosion. No signal. Gone. The governor of Narek 5 tried to escape in his private cruiser. It exploded 1 minute after launch, on the side of the burning wreck. Rescue teams found words burned into the metal: cowards fall first. The message was clear: no one was safe. On other worlds, people stopped trusting the Empire. Citizens protested. Riots broke out. Leaders were dragged from their homes and forced to answer one question: why did you wake Earth? Whole cities turned off their communications, hoping the Terrans would skip them if they stayed quiet. Some worlds even removed the Empire's banners and raised white flags in orbit. Others raised Earth's old flag just to avoid being targeted. The Empire tried to hold order, but it was too late. The Terran fear was stronger than any law in the capital world of Zarn Prime. The High Council still held meetings, but no one listened anymore. Ministers shouted. Generals blamed each other. We still have over 20,000 ships, one cried. Then where are they? Admiral Threx shouted back. We've lost contact with half of them, another general added. Even when they fight, the ships refuse to fire. Their AI systems are being shut down from the inside. That's when the room went silent. They all knew what it meant. Earth wasn't hacking the Empire's ships. Earth had already infiltrated them. Years ago, before anyone noticed, before anyone cared, in secret corners of the Empire, messages were being passed from officer to officer, from captain to captain. Surrender quietly. Earth might spare you. Do not fight the Terrans. Join them or disappear. Even loyal commanders began questioning orders, because every system the Empire tried to defend vanished on Earth inside Project Titan. Commander Cade stood before a massive star map. Every red dot marked a fallen world. Every blinking light was a Terran-controlled zone. The map was filling fast. He turned to Sentinel Zero. Status of the Central. Strike, he asked. The AI responded, calm and clear. The Oblivion has reached the Zarn's Central Core Fleet. It is cloaked. Strike will begin in 12 hours. Cade nodded. They've had enough warnings. Meanwhile, on the bridge of the Oblivion, the AI known as Ghostlight prepared its weapon systems. It had no emotions, no anger, no joy, just purpose. Across its hull, small doors opened, revealing silent missile pods and quantum disruptors. Each weapon had one task: to erase. Inside the Empire's largest fleet, no one even noticed the Oblivion was floating just outside sensor range. It was invisible, undetectable, waiting back on Zarn Prime. People looked up at the stars with dread. Children whispered about black ships and red eyes. Old war veterans refused to sleep. They knew what was coming. One by one, planetary governors sent messages to Earth. We surrender. We welcome peace. Please don't erase us. But Earth never responded. Not yet. Earth was still watching, still deciding, still judging. In one of the deepest levels of the Zarn military command, a young technician uncovered something strange. Message hidden in the oldest systems of the fleet. It had been placed there over 80 years ago, before Earth ever went silent. The message read, "Let them rise. Let them forget. We'll be waiting." Earth's Defense Corps, the technician trembled. It was never a mistake. Never an accident. Earth's silence was a plan. A long, slow trap. And now, the trap was closing. Across 3 galaxies. The collapse had started. Empire systems disconnected. Fleets vanished. Loyalty died. because the truth was no longer a secret. Earth had never been helpless. It had been patient. And now, the empire went so powerful was falling like a tower made of glass. The Terrans had returned, and they were just getting started. For over 100 years, no signal came from Earth. No message. No trade. No movement. To the great Zarn Empire, Earth was nothing now. Just a quiet, dead rock at the edge of the stars. A failed world that tried to reascend fell into silence. Scouts were sent long ago. They found ruins. No people. Empty cities. Broken satellites floating like old bones around the planet. The Council of Zarn called it the Forgotten Planet, and soon everyone did the same. Earth, the younger captains, laughed. That place is ancient history. No one feared it, no one cared, until the day something moved under the moon, Commander. Villar stood tall in the command deck of the scout ship Ravager. He stared at the blue and gray planet on the screen. "It's still quiet," his second officer said. "No defenses, no shields, not even orbit patrols." Villar smiled coldly. "Then we land. The minerals under that surface are valuable. We take them." He turned to the drone teams. "Send down mining units. Strip what you can. This world is dead. Let it serve the living." 10 mining drones dropped through the clouds, diving straight toward the Earth's surface. They landed near an old city once called San Francisco. The buildings were broken, covered in vines. The streets were cracked and full of dust. But just below the surface, metal shifted. Something old, something buried. As the mining lasers touched the ground, a sound began. It's very deep, very slow, like a heartbeat under the soil. Boom, boom. The drones stopped. Their scanners showed strange readings. Heat rising, metal moving. One drone tried to fly up but was pulled down by an invisible force. Crushed flat. Then the ground split open. A black shape rose from the earth. Huge, silent, not a building, not a ship. A giant. Its head turned. Its eyes lit up to red burning lights. The other drones tried to escape, but they vanished in seconds. Taken by shadows moving too fast to see, on the ship Ravager, alarms began to scream. "Something's down there," shouted the second officer. "Something massive." "Defenses?" Beeler asked, his voice tight. "No, sir, it's not defense. It's alive." High above, hidden behind the moon, another shape moved. For over 100 years, it had waited. Silent. Watching. Collecting data. Now it opened. A fleet black and sharp powered up with no light. No sound. One by one, Terran ships awakened. From deep sleep, their engines were cold fusion. Their weapons were things the Empire had never seen. Each ship had no pilot. Only code. Old human code. And a voice. The voice of Earth's last commander. Stage 1. Engagement. Back on Ravager, Commander Villar couldn't believe what he saw. On the screen, the giant was now walking. Slowly, every step shook the city ruins. Signals jammed. Scanners died. All drones dash lost. VLA are turned pale. Send a message to the Empire. Earth is not empty. Earth is, he never finished. The command deck went dark. Then a message appeared on every screen in the ship. Old human language, cold white text. We're warned. Then the screens went black again. Outside the ship, stars changed. Small black dots appeared, ships with no lights, no trails, no names. They moved fast. Too fast, the Ravager never had time to turn. It vanished into silence. Hours later, in the Zarn Empire's command halls, a scout report arrived. No message. Just a single image from deep space. It showed Earth, still quiet, still alone, but behind it, dozens of large shadows floated like ghosts. The council laughed at first, just scanner errors. But one older general stood frozen. He whispered, "It started. The silent giant is waking." Everyone stopped. No one laughed anymore. And far away, under the seas of Earth, a voice echoed in the deep. They came too close. Let them remember what they forgot. Forgotten planet was forgotten no more. The galaxy was about to remember Earth, and Earth was done being silent. In the center of the Zarn Empire, billions of people lived under bright skies and glowing towers. Their technology was advanced. Their ships could cross galaxies in hours. Their leaders believed they were safe, but then it happened. For 6 full seconds, everything stopped. The lights in cities flickered. The screens in command centers turned to static. All ships in space lost control. Weapons shut down. Shields dropped. Across the whole empire and hundreds of world systems went dark just for 6 seconds. Then everything returned, as if nothing had happened. But the fear had already begun. Admiral Threx sat in the War Council chamber. He stared at the reports coming in. "What caused the blackout?" one of the ministers asked. "Unknown," Threx said, his voice hard. "It was not natural. It was targeted, exact, clean. No power loss, just control loss." The ministers looked at each other. "Could it be the Zayla rebels?" asked another. "No," Threx said. "They don't have that kind of power." He paused. "But Earth might." The room went quiet. Someone laughed nervously. "Earth, a dead planet." "They've been silent for a century," said another. "They're ghosts." Threx didn't smile. "Ghosts don't send messages." He pushed a button. On the center screen, a transmission played. It had no voice, only words. In Old Earth language, 2 simple words: "Do not return." The Council of Zarn didn't believe it. They said it was a trick. Maybe a hidden rebel group using Earth's name. "Earth is empty," they said. "We saw it." But Threx knew better. He remembered stories, old war files. Data from before Earth went quiet. Back then, Earth built weapons no one else dared to use. They had AI fleets, underground fortresses, and command units frozen in cryosleep, waiting for the final war. But then, nothing. They vanished. People thought Earth gave up. Now, it looked like Earth had been preparing for this very moment. Across the stars, strange things began happening. A Zarn scout ship vanished near a dead asteroid. Mining colony exploded without warning. A fleet of drones sent to harvest Earth's orbit stopped sending data. Then, one drone returned, damaged, burned, but still alive. Inside, engineers found scratches on its metal body. Deep marks, made by something sharp. The scratches formed words. Old words. Human writing. "We never left." Panic spread, on Earth deep below the mountains. The AI core known as Sentinel-0 had finished its first task. It had sent the message now. It moved to Phase 2. Inside underground bunkers, metal doors opened. Robotic systems came online. Satellites that were hidden in orbit for decades began transmitting coded pulses. The sky above Earth shimmered for a moment, invisible to the naked eye. But clear to any machine watching, it was a warning flare, a digital. Roar.Earth was no longer silent. It was watching. Back in the Empire, news spread fast. People remembered old names: Terrans, Earthborn, the Silent Fleet. Rumors filled the stars. Earth is alive. Earth is angry. Earth is waiting. But the Council gave no orders. They were still unsure, still laughing. Only Admiral Threx moved. He sent his top intelligence unit to find out the truth. Their mission: go to Earth, get close, watch, report. They never returned. Their last report was one word: run. At the edge of the Terran exclusion zone, a hidden station picked up movement. A single object was rising from Earth's surface. Large, black-shaped. It's like a giant ship, but different. It had no engines visible, no fuel lines, no heat. It was cold, dead yet. It moved. The station scanned it. The readings made no sense. The object had no crew, no AI signature, no life. But the message it carried was clear. On the side of the ship, in glowing red letters, "The giant has awakened." In the capital world of Zarn, the Council met one last time that day. Admiral Threx stood before them. "I ask again," he said. "Send a message of peace. Don't push Earth, but the Council refused. If Earth wants to speak, they can come, one said. Till then, we keep mining. We keep expanding. Earth is history. Threx's voice turned cold. No, Earth is memory. And memory is dangerous when it wakes. He walked out. The Council laughed behind him, but in the shadows of the galaxy, the laughter would soon turn to screams. Earth was not helpless. Earth was patient. And now, Earth was ready. At the far edge of the Terran system, 3 Zarn scout ships entered orbit near Pluto. Their mission was simple: get close, scan Earth from a distance, and report back. They expected silence. Again, what they got was fear. Captain, we are picking. Up movement, said the sensor officer of the lead scout ship Trelac 7. Objects in the dark. But they don't reflect light. Ghost signals? The captain asked. No, sir. They're real, but they're cold. No heat, no radiation. Like they're not really alive. Suddenly, one of the 3 scout ships went offline. No explosion. No signal. Just gone. The other 2 ships panicked. They turned their engines and tried to retreat. But their nav systems were jammed. Star maps scrambled. Engines stopped responding. Then, out of the blackness, shape appeared. It was a ship, or something like a ship. It had no lights, no windows, just dark armor and sharp edges. The second scout ship fired its weapons. The shots hit nothing. The black shape simply passed through, silent, fast, deadly. And then the second scout ship disappeared too. Only one remained. Its captain, shaking, sent out a final message to the Empire. We were wrong. Earth is awake. And they're not using normal ships. These are shadows. That was the last anyone heard from him, back in the Empire's capital. Fear had now turned to questions. What kind of ships were those? Asked a council member. Admiral Threx stood at the front of the chamber, his face grim. They match. Nothing in our records, he said. No known engine type. No life signs, no power signatures. We believe they are stealth constructs, possibly AI-controlled. Could they be old Earth tech? Someone asked. Threx nodded slowly. Worse. They could be new Earth tech. Built in the silence. The room went quiet. At that moment, all across the galaxy, strange things started to happen. A mining ship near the planet. Zorn exploded before sending any distress call. A transport vessel carrying soldiers vanished mid-warp jump. And on one rich trade planet, every satellite crashed from orbit at the same second. Warning. No explanation. In each case, the only clue was the same. Black shapes, barely seen, moving fast, leaving no trace. And sometimes, they left messages, not in the Zarn language, but in Earth's old code. This is just the beginning. The Terran Shadow Fleet, once only a rumor, had now fully awakened. For over 100 years they had waited in deep space, hidden in asteroid fields, cloaked near dead planets, parked under oceans. Each ship was Arai-controlled. Each one designed for silent, one-strike kills. Their mission wasn't defense. It was watching, and now, the command had been given. Phase 2. Interdiction. Stop the Empire. Break their lines. Let fear spread. Admiral Threx did what he could. He called for emergency defense units, ordered tracking stations to focus on Terran signals. But it didn't help. The Terran ships weren't just faster, they were smarter. They didn't attack planets directly. They took out fuel lines, shipyards, sensor grids. They made sure no one knew where they would strike next. Within days, 15 border systems had lost all contact with the Empire. And then, for the first time, a black Terran ship appeared in open view. It entered orbit above the planet Drexus Prime. It said nothing. It didn't fire. It just stayed there, watching Empire. Forces tried to engage it, but before they could fire, the ship sent one short message. Don't. They didn't listen. The moment they launched missiles, the black ship moved in under 10 seconds. The entire defense grid was gone. and the Terran ship left without another word. Panic swept the galaxy. Merchants stopped traveling. Smugglers refused. Jobs near Earth. Whole systems started talking about surrendering, just in case. The Empire had grown too confident and too fast, and now the silent giant they had forgotten was hunting them, back on Earth, deep beneath the ice of Antarctica. A man named Cade stood alone in the command chamber. He was old now, the last living commander of the Earth. Defense Corps kept alive through cryosleep, woken only when Earth needed him most. He watched the reports from the AI fleets, the kills, the retreat of the Empire, the fear spreading. He spoke calmly. "Prepare Phase 3, he said. "Let them feel what we felt." Behind him, giant machines stirred. Weapons from a lost era powered up. The shadows were only the beginning. The full storm was coming, deep under the Earth's crust. Below the oceans, mountains, and frozen poles, something massive was waking up. It wasn't just a base. It was a city. A machine city, hidden for over 100 years. This place was known only to a few as Project Titan. It was Earth's final answer. A place built not to survive, but to strike back when the time was right. Now, the time had come. Cade stood on the main platform watching the old machines come alive. He was the last living commander from Earth's final war. Time had taken his friends, his family, and even his country, but not his duty. A deep voice spoke from the air around him. "Sentinel Zero online. Reactivation complete." Cade nodded. "Show me the Colossus." Before him, the floor split open. Rising from the darkness was a mechanical giant, hundreds of meters tall. It had no face, only a thick armor of black titanium and ancient Terran alloys. Its chest glowed dim red. Its hands were shaped like claws. Its back carried launch pods for weapons lost to time. It had slept for over a century. Now it opened its eyes. Elsewhere inside Project Titan, thousands of drones, tanks, and AI soldiers powered up. Many had never been used before. Some had minds of their own. Quiet minds, cold minds. Programmed only for one thing: war. A robotic commander known as VEX-9 walked to Cade's side. "All systems at 89%, Vex said. Can begin deployment." "Within 12 hours? Not yet," Cade said. "Let the shadows finish their work first." "Understood." In the sky above Earth, cloaked Terran ships moved silently in orbit. Each one carried advanced weapons that made Zarntech look like toys. These ships had no living crew. They didn't need any. They were built by humans, run by AI minds that remembered every war Earth ever fought. They remembered being called weak. They remembered being ignored. They remembered the day the Empire came to Earth and laughed. Back on Zarn's border worlds, things were falling apart. Outposts were going dark. Cargo fleets were refusing orders. Pirate groups were fleeing without firing a shot. Some planets even shut off their own systems to avoid being noticed. The name Earth was now whispered with fear, not because of numbers, but because no one knew how many ships Earth had, or where they were, or who controlled them. But the truth was simple. Earth was the fleet. Every part of the silent giant was part of the plan, and now the final part was ready. Back in Project Titan, Cade entered a chamber no one had touched in 110 years. It was the Arc Room. Rows of cryopods lined the walls. Inside them slept the last generation of Earth's elite warriors. Men and women trained for one thing only: to fight if Earth ever fell. Their armor was inside the wall lockers. Their weapons were still waiting. Cade placed his hand on the command panel. The screen lit up. Genesis 4 status: asleep. Wait command accepted. Steam filled the room. The pods hissed open one by one. Inside, warriors opened their eyes. No questions, no fear, just one thought in every mind: it's time, above the Earth. Far away in the Empire's space, a signal was intercepted by one of the black Terran ships. The message came from deep inside the Zarn military network. A secret fleet was being prepared. 10,000 ships, all aimed at Earth. The Empire's final move? They were planning to strike hard to crush Earth before it could do more damage. The Terran ship didn't respond. It simply sent the data home. Within seconds, Project Titan knew everything. Every ship, every route, every weakness. Cade read the report. He gave one simple order. Let them come. Back in the deep command room, Sentinel-0 began transmitting a hidden signal. This time, it wasn't a warning, it was a call. All across the galaxy, old Terran outposts that had stayed hidden suddenly lit up. Ships buried inside moons began to rise. Weapons. Disguised as space rocks opened their launch bays. Earth wasn't. T alone? It never had been. The silent giant was now fully awake. Its heart was Titan. Its hands were the Shadow Fleet. Its eyes were everywhere. The Zarn.
Ow.
Empire still didn't understand what they had touched. They thought Earth was a broken world, a dead species. But Earth had only been silent, not weak, and now the silence was over. In the deepest archives of the Zarn Empire, far below the central library of Zarn Prime, a hidden file was discovered. It had no name, no author, no warning. But when it was opened, the truth broke everything. High Counselor Varka stared at the screen in front of her. Her hands shook. The room was silent as her aides read the message. It was an old Terran transmission one sent nearly 100 years ago, but it had only just activated. It was set to unlock the moment the Zarn Empire reached its final expansion limit. That day had come. The message began in a calm human voice. If you were reading this, then you came too far. You poked too deep, took too much. Believed your empire would last forever. We knew you would come. So, we vanished. Silently, slowly, and we watched. You thought Earth was weak? You thought we gave up. But all we did was wait. Panic spread through the council chamber. The Zarn Empire had never feared anyone, not even the Krull warlords, not the fallen Serix Union, but Earth. It never expected Earth to be this clever, this cold, this powerful. Varka turned to her advisors. They planned all of it. Every blackout, every lost ship, every fallen colony. It was never random, an aide whispered. We didn't destroy Earth. We created this. Far away, deep inside Earth's Project Titan. Commander Cade looked at the same message. It was always meant to be found when the time was right behind him. The Genesis Force stood ready. In front of him, the map of the galaxy showed systems, falling like dominoes. Let them see, Cade said. Let them know who we are. The AI Sentinel-0 continued broadcasting hidden truths to every corner of the Empire. It sent pieces of Earth's real history in censored raw, videos of the first Zarn invasion of Earth, images of Terran cities burning, files showing Earth's secret evacuation underground, blueprints of the Silent Giant Project, records of the AI fleets being hidden inside comets and moons, and most powerful of all, a speech. One that had never been broadcast until now, from Earth's final president. 100 years ago. We cannot win today's war, but we will not vanish. We will become the dark between the stars. We will become the storm behind the silence. And when they forget us, that's when we strike. Across Zarn territory, reactions were chaos. On some worlds, citizens tore down Empire banners and declared Earth as their protector. Others shut off everything, hoping the Terrans would skip over them. But Earth wasn't destroying everyone. Only the guilty, only the ones who mined, enslaved, or laughed at Earth's fall. The rest. Earth left them alone. For now, Admiral Threx watched the Empire fall from his warship, Honor's Edge. He was one of the few Zarn leaders who didn't speak. He just listened. He knew now what. Earth didn't want control. Earth didn't want to rule the galaxy. Earth just wanted revenge. And then silence again. He whispered to himself, this wasn't a war. This was a warning. In orbit around Zarn Prime, the Oblivion finally moved. Its weapons were still online, its engines cold and silent. but it didn't fire. Instead, it projected a message above the capital planet. Huge letters in the sky, visible from every city. We were never gone, and the ship turned and left. Just like that. No attack. No sound. Just a message that would stay burned in every memory forever. The truth about Earth was simple now. They never stopped fighting. They just changed how they fought. No armies, no invasions, just silence, and then destruction. By the time the Tsaran Empire understood what was happening, it was already too late. Earth had become something new, not a planet, not a nation, but a myth, a silent force that punished arrogance. With precision and deep inside Project Titan, Cade gave the final order. Phase 4, complete. Hold position, Sentinel-0 responded, awaiting next enemy. Because Earth had won this war, but there were still others watching, others who might forget the lesson. Cade stared at the stars and whispered, "Let them watch. Let them fear. We are the silence. We are the storm." The Tsaran Empire was gone, not destroyed by fire, not crushed in open battle. It simply collapsed, world by world, fleet by fleet, until nothing was left but silence and fear. But on this day, the stars themselves would remember what Earth had done, because today, Earth was not hiding. Today the silent giant spoke at the center of the old Zern territories. 10,000 warships floated above the skies of Kellner Prime. They were the Empire's last hope, its hidden core fleet. The fleet had stayed quiet during Earth's strikes, waiting for the perfect moment to launch a surprise attack and end the Terran threat. But they didn't know. Earth already knew. Far beyond the system, cloaked and watching, was the Terran Colossus Oblivion. It had waited patiently, measured every move, mapped every ship. Ghostlight the ship's AI had one purpose: eliminate any future threat. And now, with the entire fleet in one place, the time had come. Final protocol confirmed, Ghostlight said. Then the stars blinked. At first, no one understood. Then a strange shimmer passed through space. Invisible, silent, deadly, deadly. One by one, the Empire's last ships lost power. Lights dimmed. Weapons froze. Crews screamed into radios, no answer. In less than 2 minutes, over 80% of the fleet was disabled. The others, too late to run. Oblivion's weapons fired just once. A single pulse beam aimed at the center. It was clean. It was perfect. It was the end. Back on Earth, inside Project Titan, Cade received the final report. Fleet neutralized. Sentinel-0 confirmed. 0 Terran casualties. No survivors detected. Cade said nothing. He simply closed his eyes. 100 years of pain, of silence, of planning. Now finally, peace. Real peace. Not because Earth begged for it, but because no one would dare break it again. Across the galaxy, deep space transmission echoed. Through every channel, it came from Earth. Not a warning, not a threat, just one simple sentence. Let this be the last war. People stopped to listen, even on dead worlds, even in quiet space stations. The message was clear. Earth was done for now. Many believed the Terrans would conquer everything. That Earth would become the new empire. But they didn't. The shadow fleets vanished. The black ships returned to hiding. The Colossus ships shut down again. Earth had no interest in ruling stars. It only wanted to make sure no one ever touched Earth again. Years passed, the galaxy changed. New leaders, new alliances formed. But one rule remained in every system: never go near Earth. Not because Earth was angry, but because Earth was awake, and even in silence, it was watching. A new generation grew up hearing stories of the silent giant, of the black ships, of the fireless war. They didn't cheer, they respected it, because every night, in every part of space, the stars still remembered the day they changed, the day Earth reminded the galaxy, we were never weak. We just chose not to speak. On a quiet hill on Earth, Commander Cade sat alone, his body old, his mind sharp. The world was green again, Sky clear, oceans calm. He watched the sunrise and whispered, "They will not forget." And far above him, hidden in orbit, a black ship shimmered and faded, still watching, still guarding. Earth was not helpless. Earth was never helpless. And now, everyone knew.